Look, whether you've been driving for 20 years or you literally just got your license, seeing those flashing red and blue lights in your rearview mirror, it's inherently stressful. Your heart starts pounding. But in this explainer, we're going to completely flip that script. We're turning that anxiety into solid, actionable preparation with a comprehensive 50-state guide on how to protect your constitutional rights across the 20 most common traffic stop scenarios.
So, here's the biggest mistake most drivers make. They rely entirely on their gut instinct instead of the law. And honestly, that almost always leads to accidental self-incrimination. Our natural reflex when we get pulled over is to over-explain, to apologize profusely, or to try and smooth-talk our way out of a ticket. But legally speaking, that is a massive mistake. Every single word you say is on the record.
To get through all 20 scenarios efficiently, we've built a 5-part playbook. We'll be looking at minor traffic and equipment violations, handling tricky officer questions, invoking rights against searches, serious offenses and impairment, and finally, license issues and formal arrests.
Okay, let's jump right into Part 1, minor traffic and equipment violations.
This brings us to the absolute golden rule of any traffic stop. Never, ever volunteer information or spontaneously admit guilt. Remember, your words create a binding legal record. So if an officer walks up and asks, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" and you reply, "Because I was speeding," you've literally just handed them a taped confession. Instead, start with a polite greeting and just calmly ask why you were stopped.
For your everyday moving violations, your strategy is simple. Acknowledge the stop, express future caution, and say absolutely nothing that specifically admits guilt. Let's look at 4 common scenarios. Say you're in Scenario 1, pulled over for speeding. Just say, "I'll be more mindful." Caught in Scenario 11 for a rolling stop. "I'll be more attentive." If it's Scenario 15, an illegal U-turn, a simple "I apologize, I thought it was permitted" works perfectly. And for Scenario 16, tailgating, just note that you weren't paying sufficient attention to your distance. Notice a pattern? None of these actually admit to breaking a specific legal threshold, which totally protects you if you end up fighting the ticket in court.
Now, what about equipment and administrative issues? For things like a broken headlight in Scenario 2, an expired registration in Scenario 8, or just forgetting your seatbelt in Scenario 17, your best bet is a highly cooperative, responsible demeanor. Showing a genuine commitment to getting the problem fixed immediately is actually your fastest path to a simple warning. Being polite but firm shows you respect the officer's time while still keeping your own rights locked down.
Moving right along to Part 2, handling tricky officer questions.
Sometimes a totally routine traffic stop kind of morphs into a Q&A about your personal life. When that happens, your right to privacy comes into play. If an officer starts probing, just remember that your legal obligation to answer questions beyond basic ID is extremely limited. In Scenario 9, an officer asks about your travel plans. You absolutely do not have to say where you're going or where you're coming from. In Scenario 12, your passengers do not have to identify themselves unless they are personally suspected of a crime. And in Scenario 20, asking for your social security number, your driver's license is sufficient. You rarely, if ever, need to give out your SSN on the side of the road.
So what do you actually say? Here is your magic script. I prefer not to answer questions without an attorney present. This polite but very firm phrase is the absolute best way to shut down fishing expeditions, and it formally asserts your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Seriously, commit those exact words to memory. You are not being difficult. You are simply relying on the legal framework that was built to protect you.
All right, Part 3, invoking rights against searches. There are actually only 4 legal ways an officer can search your car without a warrant, but the most common one, and the one that is entirely avoidable, is consent. Officers will often casually ask to take a look around your car simply because they don't have the probable cause to do it otherwise. Saying, "Sure, go ahead," completely waives your Fourth Amendment rights on the spot.
The phrase you need is, "Officer, I do not consent to a search." Whether it's Scenario 4 for a general vehicle search, Scenario 18 specifically asking to look in your trunk, or Scenario 10 for a pat-down of your actual person, you have to use this exact phrase. You cannot just stay silent, you must explicitly state it out loud to legally protect yourself from a warrantless consent search.
Now, a very important caveat here. If an officer decides to search anyway, never ever physically resist. Simply state clearly that you do not consent, but you are not resisting. This creates a clear, factual record for your attorney. Physical resistance just turns a legally questionable search into a guaranteed criminal charge for obstruction. Your battleground is the courtroom, definitely not the shoulder of the highway.
Let's escalate things a bit with Part 4, serious offenses and impairment.
If you are pulled over for suspicion of DUI in Scenario 3, or maybe erratic weaving in Scenario 7, the stakes go way up. You need to know exactly where the legal lines are drawn with sobriety tests. Field sobriety tests, like following a pen with your eyes or walking a straight line, are totally subjective, and in most states, they are actually voluntary. Politely refusing them is almost always your best move. However, refusing a formal chemical test, like a breathalyzer down at the police station, triggers automatic administrative penalties under implied consent laws. Usually, that means an instantly suspended license.
Now imagine this nightmare scenario 19. A passenger brings contraband into your vehicle without you knowing, and the officer spots it. Use this exact phrase immediately: "I wish to remain silent and speak with an attorney." This defends you against charges of constructive possession and signals that you are absolutely done talking. The last thing you want is to accidentally claim ownership of something illegal just because you were nervously trying to explain it away.
Understanding the legal distinction between declining to walk a straight line on the roadside and refusing a formal breathalyzer at the station is absolutely critical. To put it into perspective, those roadside gymnastics are virtually designed for you to fail, and again, they're usually voluntary. But formal chemical tests carry guaranteed automatic penalties for refusal. Please, know your specific state laws on this before you ever turn the key.
Okay, bringing it home with Part 5, license issues and formal arrests.
Let's hit our final 3 scenarios. If you're in Scenario 13 and just honestly forgot your wallet at home, admit it. Never lie about your identity. But if you're dealing with a criminal offense like driving on a suspended license in Scenario 14, provide your ID and invoke your right to silence immediately. And for Scenario 6, a nighttime stop, your goal is to keep the officer totally at ease. Turn on your dome light to increase visibility. Keep your hands super visible on the steering wheel and calmly narrate your movements before you reach into the glove box for your registration.
If the absolute worst happens and you reach Scenario 5, being placed under formal arrest, your Miranda rights activate. At that point, you only need one phrase: "I wish to remain silent. I want to speak with an attorney." This is literally the only thing you should say to the arresting officer, the transport officer, or the booking officer at the station. Nothing else, period.
Again, your battle is fought in the courtroom, not on the roadside. Physical compliance combined with absolute verbal silence is your strongest possible legal strategy. Officers might try to chat you up in the back of the cruiser on the way to the station, asking about your day. Do not fall for it. That casual conversation is an interrogation tactic disguised as small talk.
Across all 20 scenarios we've explored today, these 3 universal phases are the bedrock of protecting your future. Safe stop, assert rights, document. As soon as the stop completely ends, write down the officer's badge number. Write down exactly what was said and safely save your dashcam footage. Human memory fades so fast, and written, contemporaneous notes are just worth their weight in gold to an attorney defending your case later on.
The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments exist for a reason: to protect individuals from government overreach. Exercising them calmly makes traffic stops safer for you and, honestly, safer for law enforcement too. Asserting your rights politely and firmly is not the act of a guilty person. It is the act of an informed citizen. You aren't being difficult. You're just participating in the constitutional system exactly as it was designed to be used. By learning these exact scripts and strategies today, you are making sure you're fully prepared to navigate the roadside and protect your constitutional rights tomorrow. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought. The next time those red and blue lights suddenly flash in your rearview mirror, will your panicked instincts take over, or will you rely on the playbook?